time, I would like to introduce Linda Bateman from American Legion. Karen Nye.
She moved to the Riverside Drive over the weekend. So she walks
I
the
received a
dog
phone
over
call this morning at 8:30 from our president, and she asked me if I would come and speak. She's got a good excuse. She's in Florida getting married. So I think we'll let her off the hook for this one. And I got to thinking, I could have said no. That would have been easy. Easy way out. I'm not used to doing speeches. I do prayers. I belong to the American Legion on Germany. I'm a proud member. I'm also their chaplain. So I'm used to saying prayers that are already printed out, and I've given a lot of thought to. Well, this morning, if I sound disjointed, that's why. Anyway, as I sat there thinking, yes, you could have said no, I thought about my father. Who didn't say no when World War I broke out. He was 17 years old, and he needed his parents' authorization to allow him to go into battle. I also think of my aunt, Lieutenant Denise E. Terry, who served during World War II after she left college to serve. I also think of my deceased husband, who didn't say no. He went in the Navy, became a Navy corpsman, a proper, right thing, and he served his country and was a very proud veteran. I thought of him when we asked the veteran from the Marine War to stand up. He was having the applause that he deserved, that they all deserve. A lot of them, pardon me, didn't make it home. A lot of our war veterans didn't make it home, thankfully. My dad, my aunt, and my husband made it home from war. Please take a moment and thank those heroes. Sorry. You see, I wasn't prepared. Please take a moment and think of those heroes who didn't say no, and what this day is all about. And remember those brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their country. Their courage, selflessness, and dedication will be, should never be, forgotten. I hope you all have a meaningful Memorial Day. Take a moment today and think of those who did. Thank you.
Karen Nye and her husband, the veteran
Our veterans are like those stars in the sky, watching over us, ever vigilant, protecting us from the darkness of any evil that would endanger our freedom. That dedication to courage is what inspired PSW Auxiliary to create this memorial star tree you see on the stage to my left. It's not a Christmas tree. This tree that stands here shines bright with some handcrafted stars, each one bearing the name of a veteran we have lost. Some were lost in battle, some succumbed to service-related injuries, some unfortunately took their own lives, and some were able to just pass peacefully at home at the end of their days. We'd like to thank the members of the McHenry community who shared with us the names of their family members or friends who served so that they could be remembered today here at this memorial service. Thank you for joining us here today. Thank you for coming and honoring our fallen veterans. Thank you.
This time I'd like to introduce you to Roxy, who is the president of Police Legion of American Veterans for 2088, 88 Park.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming. We have lost so many of our veterans over the years. My grandfather was at Pearl Harbor when it was bombed.
Wow.
My father-in-law was in the Marine Corps. I had an uncle in the Army and cousins in the Air Force and Marines. I think of them every day. But today is more special because I have family and friends who help me remember the good that they've done and the sacrifice that they've made for us. So thank you for coming out and enjoying the moment here with us.
Rest in peace, Daddy.
To be brief, we're going to omit the introduction of both commanders until the U.S. We're going to start off with the distinguished guest at the first point, and that is, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Today we gather as a community to honor the brave men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. Memorial Day is more than an unofficial start of summer. It is a solemn reminder that our freedoms were secured by those willing to lay down their lives for others. We remember the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, and all members of the armed forces who never made it home. They were sons and daughters, mothers and fathers, friends and neighbors. Their courage and selflessness represent the very best of America. As we enjoy time with our family and friends this weekend, let us also pause to reflect on the cost of liberty. The freedoms we often take for granted were paid for by the generations of heroes who answered the call to serve something greater than themselves. Here in McHenry, we are proud to stand together in gratitude and remembrance. We honor not only those we lost, but also the families who carry their memory forward every day. May we never forget their sacrifice. May we continue to live in a way that honors their legacy, with unity, service, compassion, and love for our community and country. On behalf of the city of McHenry, thank you all who have served, and may God bless the families of all the fallen heroes, our veterans, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I'd like to welcome Ralph Grant, the Department Commander of the Illinois Police Legion of American Veterans. He is the Post Commander of Police Legion of American Veterans for 28
Yak shamash, brother.
this day, May 25th, our nation observes Memorial Day. This is a time for all citizens to pause and reflect upon and remember those in uniform who gave their lives to defend our great nation. Freedom isn't free, and we owe our liberty to those in uniform who gave all that they had their lives. Sacrifice is meaningless without remembrance. It is up to those of us who survived the war to carry that gauntlet. The nation and its citizens owe a debt of gratitude to the men and women in uniform who sacrificed their lives for this great nation, for all of us. Do your part in remembering them as we live free. And as always, every Memorial Day, I want to add Machinist Mate Second Class William Moore, shipmate, and Marine Corps Corporal Frank D. Schober. May they rest in peace, and I thank them for their sacrifice. Thank you.
Rest in peace.
I would like to acknowledge Steve Astor Cameron, that past national commander, police chief, veteran, organizer for 28 days. Organizer and first president of Chapter 188, backstage president, Tim Stewart is the Vice Commander of Post of the American Legion Post 491. He has been set up at this point.
I'm standing here today because Martin Roeder intercepted a football in 1972. Now, how can I say that with any degree of accuracy? Well, it's simple. The night he intercepted that football, I was his defensive end. And if I went to throw a block for him, somebody threw a block on me and went straight through my knee, and they said I'd never play football again. Now, I'm from Nebraska, where football was king, and my heart was broken. On December 9th of 1972, I went to give my friend Todd Chesmore a ride to the United States Army Recruiter Office, and while he was signing his life away, I was sitting in the waiting area, and I saw a pamphlet. This pamphlet said that Simmons Army Medical Center in Denver, Colorado is the orthopedic center of the United States Army. And I thought if I could get stationed there, I could get my knee fixed, and I can go play football. I said, "Sir, can you put me here?" He said, "Son, you sign this contract, I'll put you anywhere." I signed the contract, I became a military policeman. On my first day of duty, I went up to the 5th floor to check out that orthopedic clinic. As those elevator doors opened up, there's this cute little redhead sitting there. And I thought, if I get to know her, I'll figure out which one of them is going to fix my knee. I got to know her, and I got to know them. They never touched my knee. And you saw her a few minutes ago because I've been married to her now for 51 years. April Stewart is the
Oh, God bless.
We met on active duty. She was a medic, I was a military policeman. I went on to serve 21 years in the Army, Illinois Army Reserve out of the 863rd Engineering Battalion in Rockford, Illinois. And then after a couple-year break, came back in the National Guard as a combat medic. And 2 years later, went to the Officer Candidate School. Eventually, as I graduated, I went on to become the company commander of the Woodstock National Guard Unit and had several other distinguished positions for a 21-year military career. Throughout all of that, I've been blessed to be able to serve the community and to meet individuals who their service to the community is just huge. I've lost a number of them in recent years, including my big brother, who was in the United States Navy. Now, we got an ease deal because he was was in the Navy and I was in the Army. And so every year at the Army-Navy football game, we knew who we were cheering for. I feel bad for Lee because he was in the Army and the Air Force. And when they play football, who do you cheer for? It better be Army. So I'm gonna leave you with this. This is a summary of all the years. It's something I do locally in several places. Actually just did it in Johnston about an hour ago. So I practiced over there to come here. I walked through a county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, "Your old courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "Nah, it'll do for our little town." I said, "Your flagpole's leaned a little bit." And that's a ragged old flag. You're taking on it. He said, "Have a seat." So I sat down. "Is this the first time you've been to our little town?" I said, "I think it is." He said, "I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. You see, it got a little hole in that flag there when Washington took it across the Delaware. And it got powder burned the night Francis got key. Said, watching it, writing, oh, say, can you see? It got a bad rip down in New Orleans with Packingham and Jackson Penny at the scene. And it almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag, but she waved on through. She got cut by a sword at Chancellorsville. She got cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee, Beauregard, and Bragg, and a south wind blew hard on that ragged old flag. Flanders Field, World War I, she got a big hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II. She hung limp and low before that was through. She was in Korea and Vietnam. She went where she was sent by her Uncle Sam. She waved over our ships upon the briny foam, and now they've about quit waving her back here at home. In her own good land, she's been abused. She's been burned, dishonored, denied, and refused. And the government for which she stands is scandalized throughout the land except for the Plymouth. And Johnsburg. She gets threadbare and wearing thin, but she's in good shape for the shape she's in. Because she's been through the fire before, and I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning, take her down every night. We don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her up right. On second thought, I do like to brag, because I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag, and that's why I choose to pledge my allegiance to that flag of these United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. But more than that, it represents the hundreds of thousands, even millions of men and women who gave their life, their liberty, their sanity to make this and keep this the greatest nation in the face of the earth. I am proud to have been born in the great state of Nebraska. I'm proud to live in Georgia, Colorado, Nebraska, Texas, and over half my life right here in the land of Lincoln. But beyond all of that, so far beyond all of that, if all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, well, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, because that flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I am proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men and women who died to give that right to me, and I'll gladly stand up next to each and every one of you and defend her still today. Because ain't no doubt, I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Nebraska, from sea to sea, from Detroit down to Houston, from New York to LA, there is pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and
Just
say
play the song.
that I am proud to be an American, where at least I
Stand
know I'm
for
free, and I won't forget the men and women who died to give that right to me, and I'll proudly stand up even next to you, Jim Thompson, and defend her still today, because there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA, and God bless all of us. Thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Chad Miller is actually the commander of Post 491. He's in Florida marrying the other commander of the auxiliary corps. They were hitched yesterday, and I look forward to them coming back. Post 481, we're down on the corner of Pearl Street and Riverside Drive. there are a member of the military forces who served during the conflict and maybe didn't serve overseas at foreign soil like I did, well, come join the Legion. We'd love to have you. God bless.
At this time, I'd like to invite Michael Knerp, who is the commander of VFW 4600, and a long time ago, in either 1997 or 98, I was the commander of VFW and got his paperwork while he was serving in Yugoslavia for that war, and we signed him up as a VFW member. We're getting our money for it, probably.
In the Bosnia-Herzegovina conflict. Is that
Good morning.
Bosnia-Herzegovina conflict?
Spent 22 years in the military. I was enlisted my entire life. A non-commissioned officer. And I would be wrong. A non-commissioned officer, one of our biggest jobs was to correct officers to make sure they were right. Excuse me, sir. Can you please put your headgear on properly? Yeah, well, his headgear was on the entire time he was wrong. I just wanted to make sure. No, okay, we all know excuses are. All right, well, good morning. Yes, I'm Mike Knerp. I'm the commander of the Defending VFW. I'd like to welcome all of you here. The mayor, past national commanders, national commanders. Great to be here. Today is not simply a day of summer, a long day, weekend, for cookouts and everything else. Time for parades. Memorial Day is a sacred day of remembrance. It's a day set aside for a grateful nation to honor men and women of the United States Armed Forces who gave their lives in service to our country and the cause of freedom. It's rather today because freedom is never free. From the fields of Gettysburg to the beaches of Normandy, from Korea, Vietnam to Iraq and Afghanistan, and our future endeavors, a generation of Americans have answered the call. Many returned home carrying memories and scars of the last life, but too many have not returned at all. Today we remember them all. We remember the young men, women who left behind parents, spouses, children, and friends, and all their dreams. Remember those whose names are etched into the monuments, and those stories that are proudly told amongst families and friends. Their sacrifices gave us the opportunity we sometimes take for granted. The right to speak freely, worship freely, live freely, and pursue our hopes without fear. Memorial Day also reminds us of our responsibility. Remember, it's not passive. It asks something of us all. It asks us to live worthy of the sacrifices made on their behalf. It asks us to stand for our veterans, support military families, teach the next generation about service and patriotism, and work toward a nation united in the purpose and respect. To the Gold Star families out there, there's no speech that can express our gratitude for your loss and your strength. Your loved ones are not forgotten. Your sacrifices and service live on in the story of this nation and in the freedom and every day that we enjoy. As we leave here today, may we carry their memory with us, not just today, but throughout the year. When you see the American flag flying, remember those who died defending it. When you hear taps played, remember the silence left behind in their homes across America. And when you enjoy the blessing of liberty, remember the price that we have paid. May we never forget our fallen heroes. So today at 1700, we will be doing at the Field of the Fallen in Cary. If you have not gone out there, they have the flags up for every service member from Illinois who has passed away from World War I all the way up from Illinois. It the closing ceremony in the 1700s. We'd like to go there and see that. So you can see the remembrance it is of our fallen soldiers from our own area, our own community. So God bless you, Gold Star families, our veterans, our active duty service members of the United States of America. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, Gary Snell is going to read the names of our veterans that have passed in our community within the last 12 months and over the last year. Gary?
Good morning. I would just like to start off by saying, if you're not a veteran, you don't know what it is to be a veteran. We kid each other, we chide each other, we just laugh at each other. Whether you're a Marine, whether you're in the Army, whether you're in the Navy, whether you're in the Air Force or the Coast Guard, when the sun sets, we are all one. So, having said that, I have the opportunity to kind of take a cheap shot. It was mentioned that Lee Lexall was both in the Air Force and the Army. According to Lee, he fell out of the airplane, but word on the street was he was helped. But the bottom line is they didn't go back and get him. He couldn't swim, the Marines didn't want him, so he ended up in the Army. I'd also like to give a lot of thanks to Ralph Grant for his inspiration in putting me in charge of the weather today. Could you give him a big round? I heard overnight that Sue Lau had, I knew her Sue Lau. Sue Meyer, our former mayor, had some medical issues and she couldn't be here today. She's been here as long as I have, and the one time I couldn't do this, Sue filled in for me. So please keep Sue in your prayers. A Roman citizen, Marcus Tullius Cicero, who lived from 106 to 43 BC, penned the